Hello children, hope you all are safe and healthy and all the best in beginning itself. Let us back to our classes. Today we can study a geography lesson. That means we have many other lessons that we already studied that. From geography itself we studied about different types of resources and its uses, its classifications, etc. And one another lesson also we studied about different types of resources just like land, water, soil or vegetation or wildlife, etc. Here we have one another important lesson that help us to sustain our body healthy and also to become more energetic. So here our lesson give details about what different types of activities are around us. So the lesson give details about one of the most common job that people around the world depends on every time and that help us to eat or to consume something daily. So our lesson give details about a common job mainly for around 50% of the people across the world and around 70% of the people in India itself. That is agriculture or farming. Our fourth chapter from geography lesson. We know that every time we are going to different shops to purchase different type of food grains or different consumable items directly or after having some procedures, etc. Anyway, whatever products that we are purchasing from a shop, maybe not its first shape itself in the same. It has its different stages to come to a finished product. So, transforming or changing the shape of a plant or a raw material into a finished product involves many stages. Mainly, major three stages are there to make a raw material into a finished product. That is, primary activities or secondary activities and tertiary activities. Every important finished or every finished goods may be having such a journey from primary to secondary and tertiary. So major three economic activities are there in the in our daily activities or in case of every development or in case of every of our activities, primary, secondary and tertiary. Agriculture comes in primary. That means whenever we are using any kind of natural resources directly for our consumption or for every of our satisfaction or in order to satisfy every of our needs, that comes in primary sector. So farming or agriculture, fishing, hunting or gathering, etc. comes in the category or in the activities of primary sector, where we are using that natural resources directly to satisfy many of our needs. Secondary sector includes or involves some other practices just like whenever we are modifying the primary product or the raw material into another new product using some machineries or some other technology, that comes in secondary sector, where a primary product will be changed into a new product. So some activities may be there in that procedure. And tertiary sector again give us some other important services just like sometimes the raw material need to transport into another nearby factory or need to get some details about that product, etc. That comes in tertiary sector. So banking, that help us the primary and secondary to develop its own, or communication facilities or transportation facility, etc. comes in the tertiary sector. So primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary, directly from nature. Secondary, modification of natural raw materials or natural product. Tertiary, services of every kind, either to distribute the finished product from the factory to somewhere else, or in order to get more communications about all the details from different areas together to make our life more comfortable and convenient. So every kind of such services or helps, etc. comes in tertiary sector. So agriculture considering as the basic one, where every new products may be started to have its journey from primary sector. Almost every type of products may be started to produce from raw material, and many of that raw materials may be cultivated in the different farms. So agriculture is very important. So let us come to the important factors which help agriculture profitable and helpful for human life. The major two important factors which make or which helps our agricultural activity are, one is suitable topography of soil. That is, if the soil is so fertile, more and more different crops may be cultivated. And another important factor is climate. So soil and climate are the two important factors which makes agricultural activity so profitable and convenient for human life. And we need to study one another term, that the land suitable for agriculture is called arable land. Arable means agriculturable land. It may be fertile enough and also having all the other important fertile water may be available in that locality, or the climatic condition also may be suitable for the same. So the cultivable land is known as arable land. So across the world, where river banks are some of the important places where it is possible, or the most suitable or most fertile soil, alluvial soil or black soil etc. also are very much important and also very much helpful for developing agriculture area. So climatic condition and the fertility of soil or topography of soil are the two important factors of agriculture. And we know that other than food grains just like wheat or rice etc., lots of different types of agricultural practices are going on. Most commonly, one another famous and most popular among the children is so famous presently, especially during the vacation time, just for a fun for them, that is breeding of fish. That is called pisciculture. There also a culture is there. So agriculture, pisciculture and sericulture, or many varieties of such practices where different types of products may be cultivated. So we have such funds are there. We can find out such different types of agricultural activities. Agriculture is a kind of farming different types of vegetable, fruits or food grains etc. Pisciculture stands for breeding different types of fish, or sericulture stands for breeding silkworm. Likewise, number of different types of other funny agricultural activities are there. We need to find it out for a fun. And we know that farming or agriculture is really a manual job where lots of steps are there in case of agriculture from the beginning till the harvesting. That is, we need to level the land first, need to till the soil, need to add different types of manure or fertilizer, need to distribute or to scatter the seeds. So different levels or stages are there in the agricultural style, where all number of laborers also needed to be recruited. So it is really a manual labored work. And we know that in case of our agricultural system, everywhere across the world, same or similar type of agriculture cannot be practiced. We know that geographical condition or soil type or climatic condition etc. are the major important factors which makes the agricultural practice profitable and easy. So according to the area and according to the suitable geographical factors, type of agricultural system also may be practiced. So across the world, according to the technology used or according to the different methods that the people follow in case of agriculture, we can classify agriculture mainly into two broad classifications: subsistence farming and commercial farming. From that term itself, we can identify the major or the basic idea behind. Subsistence farming is for our own consumption. Commercial farming is mainly for getting profit after selling it in the nearby market. So subsistence farming again can be classified into intensive farming and primitive farming. Intensive and primitive. Intensive farming means it may be used by a farmer where less land is available, and there they are using less land with more laborers. Intensive farming. And why less land is that intensive farming is mainly practicing in the thickly populated area where production needed more or more products needed but less land is available. So in order to cultivate more, they are using less technology but lots of laborers. So intensive farming is mainly practicing in thickly populated area where less agricultural or arable land is available and they are using lots of laborers. and wheat, maize, etc. are the most important common products that they are producing there. So subsistence farming can be again classified into intensive and primitive. Intensive farming is practicing in less area or less land with more workers, and as why is it in less land? That it is a thickly populated area but need more production. While we are coming to primitive farming, it can be of two types. From the word itself, primitive stands for old models or ancient techniques, where they are not using any kind of modern technology. They are using their oldest technologies or traditional tools and traditional agricultural practices are there. So primitive farming is of two types. One is shifting cultivation, another one is nomadic herding. Shifting cultivation is a term that we heard. Shifting cultivation, from the word itself we can identify that people will move from one place to another after harvesting. So a particular area where thickly forested areas will be used by the people in order to start their shifting cultivation, where they will clear one area of that forest and will start their agricultural practices there. After harvesting, they will leave that area and will find out another location for getting there or to start their agriculture. So they are not using any kind of chemical fertilizers or no any other fertilizers, because they are leaving the land in order to restore its fertility by its own, natural fertilization by its own. So shifting cultivation is practicing mainly in the thickly forested areas just like Amazon or the southeastern parts of our Asia, etc. So shifting cultivation is a part of primitive farming where they are producing products for their daily needs alone. Nomadic farming is another type. That's also a part of primitive farming. Nomadic farming means they are not at all producing any product. But nomadic herders or nomadic herders are a kind of people, those who are moving from one place to another with their cattle wealth in order to get a proper grazing land for their cattle. They are moving from place to place according to season or according to climatic condition. Whenever the grazing land or whenever the fodder for their animal is finishing from one locality, they will move along with their animals to another common area where enough and more land or enough and more grazing land is available. So nomadic farming is mainly practicing in the arid areas where less vegetation is available. Just like in the places of Sahara, even in India itself, our Rajasthan or Kashmir areas are also examples for the nomadic herders moving from one place to another with their cattle wealth. So primitive farming is of two types, shifting cultivation in one side and nomadic herding in another style. We have studied now about the classifications comes in subsistence farming, intensive farming and primitive farming and their varieties also. Let us now come to the another important part or type of farming called commercial farming. The word itself gives you details about it is for commercial purpose, that means to earn profit. So commercial farming mainly to produce large amount of different products and also to sell in the nearby market. So where we need large acres of land needed, lots of laborers needed and machineries too. So commercial farming also have of three types: commercial grain farming, mixed farming and plantation farming. So commercial farming is mainly for farming or making products to sell outside and to get their maximum profit. So commercial grain farming means major two important grains will be cultivated there, maize and wheat. These two will be cultivated in large acres of land with possible machineries and large amount of fertilizers etc. also will be applied there. So in a piece of time or in a short period of time, in a piece of land itself, adding every kind of fertilizers or applying every other important technologies, people will cultivate varieties of food grains from the same in order to sell it in the nearby market or to export etc. So commercial grain farming is a kind of commercial farming. When you are coming to mixed farming, the word also give details. It will be mixed not with a product, it will be a cropping area where lots of varieties of crops will be cultivated at a time or alternately. There also large number of machineries needed, and all other modern methods of agricultural practices also needed. Then the third one, that is plantation farming. A common term we have. Plantations are an area, a large area where a single crop will be cultivated. A single crop, just like coffee, maybe tea or cotton or rubber, etc. may be cultivated, but only one single crop will be cultivated in large hectares of land. That also in order to sell outside and also to make their maximum profit. So three major commercial farmings are commercial grain farming, then mixed farming, and plantation cropping or plantation farming. These are the major types of farming. So commercial farming and subsistence farming. Subsistence farming is of two types: intensive subsistence and primitive subsistence. Primitive subsistence also has its own varieties called shifting cultivation or nomadic herding. Then commercial farming also has major three varieties or sections, just like commercial grain farming, mixed farming, and plantation crops. So agriculture is not just like a simple job. It is really an art where lots of new ideas, creativities, technologies, etc. can be practiced in order to improve our life standard and also to protect the world, mainly to assure food secure. That is, every individual in the world is having his minimum needs. So today we can conclude our lesson here. We can continue the remaining portion in the next lesson, next class. So thank you. Have a nice day.